Hello friends and enemies. It's been almost 2 months since my last Kindle Unlimited Check In, so it's time for another one. Listen, things have changed a good bit on my KU checkouts. I feel like I've cycled in some new stuff, and I read about 10 books on my checkout list, so I think it's time to come back through and talk about them. Maybe, I don't know. I think this will be interesting because I have definitely kept a lot of the same hockey books because I've kind of been dipping my toes in and out of the hockey thing lately, but I have read 10 titles, actually 11 titles, I take that back, since my last update, which means it's about time. I try to update these every 10 or 15 books because otherwise it's too much. But let's talk about what I've got checked out in KU right now, and then we'll talk about what I've read so far. So my current checkouts, starting from the oldest to the newest, is Team Players by Deanna Gray. I do really want to read this soon. It's pretty high on my priority list, but I'm kind of taking a small break from hockey books because of a series I finished and am obsessed with. I'm also waiting for a certain book to come out on the 21st, so that's a whole thing. So I have this checked out. I have Slaying the Vampire Conqueror checked out. I do really want to get to this, but I'm kind of also reading another very popular fantasy romance, so this will take me a minute to get to. I have Axel by Samantha Whiskey checked out, which I am in the middle of reading. This is my members pick for August, and I will be done with it. Honestly, by the time this video goes up, I will probably have finished that book, but I'm enjoying it so far, is what I'll tell you. Then I have Breakaway by Stephanie Archer. By Grace Riley. I was going to read this sooner because she was attending CMULIT, but she ended up having to drop, so I'm now having to reprioritize that book a little bit. I also have Funny Guy by Emma Barry. I have this checked out because it is a Amazon published title, which means it includes the audiobook through KU, and I'm hoping to listen to it soon. I really enjoyed Chick Magnet, and Emma Barry for me is becoming one of those authors that when I know I'm in a place that's not the best, maybe I want to pick up because her books are very fun and light. I also have Forever Your Rogue, which was out of KU but is now back, and this is a historical romance, and we know me, I read them once in a blue moon, especially because I have The Monstrous Duke and I checked out, which is part of the series read through my members are doing, and I actually haven't even read this one, and this was a while ago pick, and not a lot of them liked this one, so I'm hoping to read this one as well as the next two picks soon and decide what we're doing as a group at the end of August, if we want to do a different series or if we want to continue the Monstrous Ball series. I also have, this is our other hockey section. I grouped these together and I thought I'd grab the other ones and I hadn't. The Penalty Box, which is the next one in the series by Odette Stone. I want to read this so I can read the final book because that one is an older woman, younger man, and that was one of my favorite tropes. Defensive Hearts, which is your grumpy sunshine possessive one. Double Pucked, which is our MFM, something like that. I'm not sure if swords crossed or not, but this is her ex leaves her and she ends up dating his two favorite hockey players and going to his wedding with them or something. I don't know. It's a mess and it sounds hilariously delightful. Then we have Accidental Hero, which this one was recommended to me by one of y'all, and I really would like to pick this up soon. It sounds really interesting. This is an author I've never read from before, and I do think, like I said, overall it looks pretty interesting. Then I have Minx by Sophie Lark. I may do, I don't know, would y'all want a Sophie Lark vlog, or do I just read them as I read them? Because I do have quite a bit of Sophie Lark books that I would like to read, but I kind of just sprinkle them in here and there. And I do need to get back to her because I've not read one in a while. Then I have Maniac by Onley James. I realize I'm only saying half these authors' names, but I grabbed this when it came out in KU because she said all of her books are not going to permanently stay in KU. So I preemptively want to just make sure I have the newest ones checked out, so when I get there, it's ready for me. And then we have The Rest of the Story by Tal Bauer, which I'm not reading yet because I'm not in the mood to cry, and that book is going to make me cry. I also have Only for a Week. This is a highly anticipated Black love book for me. I'm really excited to read it. Everyone I know that's read it has loved it, and I trust their opinions so much that I'm half nervous to pick it up, but also really excited. I do think it's probably going to be a read while this video is going up while I'm gone. So yeah, it'll probably be a read at some point during that trip because I do think it seems like a good vacation book. I also have Arrowed, which I got the author on my TikTok. She got laid off and was if you would like to read my book, go for it. It's supposed to be Twilight inspired-esque, so I'm curious, to say the least. I also have Done and Dusted. This is a book that didn't quite haunt me on my FYP on TikTok, but I got it enough times that I was kind of curious to try it. It is a brother's best friend. She comes back to her hometown and goes to his bar, and it sounds really fun. And I like the cover. It's very unique. I'm not usually a cowboy romance person, so I'm hoping maybe this will work for me. Then I have Before Girl by Kate Canterbury. because everybody I know right now is in a Cape Canterbury era and I want to join them. So this is one of the ones I've checked out. And then last, I have Unhinged by Vera Valentine. This is her newest bonkers romance. It involves a door, literally a door. So I'm really curious about it, and I will definitely be picking it up sooner than later because I know it'll be a quick read. All right, let's talk about everything I've read off of KU since the last update. So first up, we have Lines, which is a high school setting hockey romance. This was okay. I didn't hate it. It is completely fade to black, which I did appreciate for a high school setting. It's very dramatic, very over the top. It is in a reading blog where I read college and high school sports romances. If you're curious, they're childhood friends to lovers. Some of the treatment the male main character had towards our female main character just didn't work for me as far as redemption goes. Then I read Holdout, which I thought this was a really fun read. This is about a girl whose brother is on the hockey team, ends up accidentally rooming with the new star player, and they don't know it's each other because there's kind of this mistaken identity because her name's Ryan with 2 N's, and he's going by a different name so people don't know it's him looking for a roommate. I really liked how this worked out. It was really cute. He's kind of an introvert and she helps bring him out of his shell a little and socialize more with the team and the people around him. And it was a very fun, very cute to read. First of all, we're reading in the Carolina Comets, which I feel like I have been raving about for frickin' ever. But Puck Shy, I went back to the first book in the series. This is one of my favorites. She makes horror props basically and different like horror themed items that she sells as a home business. Or as a small business, and it's really neat that this is what her job is. I love the inspo here. She picks him up off the side of the road because he is driving his junker back to where their stadium is after visiting home, and she picks up a stranger off the road. And they then travel home together, and she doesn't know who he is because she doesn't follow hockey. Well, lo and behold, they find out. They accidentally meet on the dating app, and he matches with her knowing it's her, and she doesn't know it's him. And it goes on from there. It was really good. There's a great moment where she's at a game with her friend, and he's there and he bangs on the plexiglass to get her attention. And that moment was spectacular when I read it. This was just an absolute blast. They're all such dorks in this series is the theme you're going to notice. And I love a dorky jock. Like, it's just the best. Then I read Blind Pass, which is our grumpy sunshine woke up married, a beauty influencer and the hockey player, Rhodes, who has like a big scar on his face. And she also does photography and helps him to find his like inner beauty. And there is just so much in this book that I absolutely adore and am trash for. This was probably one of my top 3s for the series. It's really hard for me to pick a top 3 for the Carolina Comets. But this one is spectacular. I have a soft spot for Married in Vegas / woke up married as somebody who got married in Vegas, like on purpose. I don't know. There's something about Married in Vegas I just love as a trope. And I think I'm partial to it because I got married in Vegas personally. Like, I planned my wedding in 2 weeks. So like, I think I just relate to the idea of just waking up and being married to somebody because there was a moment in which we almost just went to the courthouse. Then I also read One Timer, which is probably my least favorite of all of the Carolina Comets. Not because I didn't like the characters, but because it's a one-night stand accidental pregnancy, which are just not my tropes. Like, I like one-night stand, but I don't like accidental pregnancy. And it's them living together and like navigating, well, not living together, them like navigating, getting to know each other while she's pregnant. And it worked out really well, and I really did enjoy it for the most part. It just isn't my favorite in this series. Then we have Sin Bin, which is, they had a one-night stand like 2 years ago. She shows up to work. She is the niece of the coach of the team. And he is one of the older players on the team. He's getting ready to retire. This is a nice age gap, about 10 years. And yeah, they have the one night stand. Oh no, we work together. And they just avoid it entirely for this time period until finally they can't avoid it anymore. And he ends up like, things happen. And there is a lot of pining, like so much pining. And I love the amount of pining in this book immensely. I think it's spectacular. It's so fun how much they pine for each other. And the payoff is explosive to an extent. And then last in the Carolina Comets is Scoring Chance. This is the last one I read. I read these out of order. This one follows our virgin hero, who is the new player on the team, Grady, and the owner of the donut truck, and their romance. And it is so cute. So stinking cute, y'all. Oh my gosh. I truly cannot wait to see where else this goes. It was just so cute. Absolutely adorable. It was one of those books like I could not put down. All of the Carolina comic books I highly recommend. Pick the one that has your favorite trope and start there. I think the series is just one of those ones, like, don't pick it up too late at night because you're probably not going to sleep. or you're going to read about 75% to 80% of it, pass out, wake up in the morning and finish it. Like, they're just very fun books. I love them so much. If I haven't talked to you into them yet, I don't know what you're doing here, but maybe you're new to my channel. Next, I read Treble by Rilsey Adams, and like, oh, when does Rilsey not write a good book is my first question. And I don't look forward to the day she disappoints me in some way as an author, like for her, a book like that I don't like, because Treble, holy shit. So this is an established open relationship / polyamorous couple. So they've been together a while, they're married, and they're both able to date outside the marriage. And for the first time ever, they both end up being attracted to the same person through just kind of like weird circumstances. They end up having met the other partner without knowing these things. And it is so good. I loved the sex in this. We get some great sex in the beginning between our established couple, and then as our third joins, and it's just spectacular. It's hot. It's so romantic. Like, they're so sweet to each other. I don't know. It just worked really, really well for me, and I think this is one of those ones that, like, if you haven't tried Rilsey, it's a good one to start with if you're into polyamorous in your books. And I feel like it also explored like more ethical polyamory stuff there, which was good. Like, our heroine wasn't gonna just hook up with him without meeting the wife first and making sure it was all on the up and up. And I just think that's like, it's smart. It makes sense to me. Next, I read Death's Obsession. This is one of the ones that like I got on TikTok randomly. I got a snippet of it and I love this book. I'm obsessed with this book. This is a new like favorite. This follows a woman, Lilith, who is in a car accident. She survives and everyone else in the car dies. And she sees death like approach her and he tells her not yet. And then as time progresses, she's kind of having visions and weird things are happening. She's getting left flowers and notes. All these like kind of creepy stalkery things, and it's death. And lo and behold, it's the like slow unfolding of their relationship / reigniting their relationship kind of, and her remembering him. And it was so freaking good. I really loved how this played out overall, and I think this is one of those ones that, for me, it just worked. Like, it worked really well. It gave me the stalker romance vibes. It gave me, like, death being kind of weird, which death should be weird as a partner, and I really liked how it all unfolded. I also felt like we got a lot of our character figuring out herself and what she was worthy of, which, total weakness of mine, I'm not gonna lie. Then, the last thing I finished from KU is The Moonlit Dance. This is by Zoe Abrams. This is the finale in her little duology, and I liked it. I think this was a good time overall. I think it closed the story out pretty well, and I'm happy I read this duology. I think for my Howl's Moving Castle girls, this is a fun White Shoes option. It's a fun fantasy romance option. We do have a lot of partners, and we add a lot in. There's a good bit of political intrigue on the page for this as well. Like, it kind of just meshes a lot of things in not a lot of pages, so like I think that's a feat in and of itself. But yeah, I really enjoyed The Moonlit Dance. I enjoyed the first book in this series. I'm curious to see what else Zoe writes. I would definitely pick up another book by her. Okay, that is everything for my KU check-in. I feel like this one was pretty short, so good on me. If you have finished anything you loved recently from KU, let me know about it down below in the comments. And if you don't want to do that, leave me a stack of books as an emoji, and I will have links to all of these books for you down below, as well as links to Be My Friend anywhere on the internet. And we'll talk to y'all in just a few days. Bye!
Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for.